Yo guys, it's Blue.
And this is Richter.
And this is Totable.
And we're the Anime Nexus. And today we're going to be looking at One Piece.
So this review will be like any other, divided into 4 parts: story, likes, dislikes, and scores.
Okay, so I'll begin with the story. Okay, let's begin with the East Blue Saga. The story begins with Monkey D. Luffy as a young boy living in the East Blue, where he is first introduced to Shanks, the pirate who saved his life and gave him the iconic straw hat. The saga starts off with a flashback of Goldie Roger's execution. Before he is executed, he tells the world to pretty much go seek out his treasure, which is also known as One Piece. And this sparks the golden age of the pirates, in which countless pirates raise their flags and set sail to find One Piece. And years later, when Luffy is not a little boy anymore, he sets off to pursue his dream of becoming the king of pirates and to find the legendary One Piece, but first he must gather crewmates. And this is where we are first introduced to Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji. And then next we have the Alabasta arc. So prior to this arc, we are introduced to Tony Chopper, and Luffy recruits him into his Straw Hat crew. And he's pretty much like the doctor of the Straw Hats. And then in the Kingdom of Alabasta, which is like the 4th island the Straw Hats encounter, they must race across the desert to reach Alabarna, the kingdom, where there's like a massive war that's going to break out between the kingdom royal guards and the rebels. Crocodile being the rebel in an attempt to overrule the throne, and that's where Luffy and his crew must fight Crocodile and his army to help save the kingdom. This is where Nico Robin is added to the Straw Hats. Alright, so after that we have the Sky Island Saga. That's where where the Straw Hat crew goes to Skypiea. And it's pretty much like a mysterious land above the clouds. However, once they arrive, they become embroiled in a massive war that may result in the destruction of Skypiea. This is where they face the god that rules the sky, Enel, who is confronted by Luffy, and there was no crew members introduced in this arc. So that's pretty much it for that. First 5 members of the Straw Hats. The first one, obviously, Luffy. He's the captain of the Straw Hat crew, whose ultimate goal is to be the king of pirates. And the second one was Zoro. His goal is to be the world's greatest swordsman. Nami, her goal is to be the world's greatest navigator. Usopp, he wants to become a hero. And then there's Sanji, who is his goal is to be the greatest cook in the world and to see the all blue. And that's pretty much it for my part. And I will be moving on to Richter.
So I'll take it up from here and talk about the Water 7 arc. Water 7 is the 7th island that the Straw Hats encounter on the Grand Line. It is the water metropolis that was built on top of a previous sunken city. Things seem to be going fine for the Straw Hats until a mysterious organization called CP9 gets involved. The CP9 is after Robin, since she's the last survivor of her village where they studied the Poneglyphs. However, the Straw Hats are not okay with this and follow the CP9 to Annie's lobby to save Robin. So when the Straw Hats leave Water 7, they come to Annie's lobby. This arc also serves as a point of advancement for each of the Straw Hats, as almost all of them become stronger in some way. In this arc, the Straw Hats also say farewell to their beloved ship, the Going Merry. After Annie's lobby, the Straw Hats journey into the Florian Triangle, arriving at a haunted island ship called Thriller Bark, in which their shadows are stolen by Shichibukai, Gecko Moria, and must hurry to get them back before the sun rises. After defeating Moria, another Shichibukai shows up to make the Straw Hats situation worse, who is fought off by Zoro. After this arc, the Straw Hats also gain a new crewmate, a living skeleton named Brook, who becomes their musician. Finally, after leaving Thriller Bark, Luffy notices that the Vivre card that Ace gave him is slowly burning away, so this tells him that Ace is in danger. From there, the Straw Hats end up in Shabadi, where they encounter the same Shichibukai that Zoro fought on Thriller Bark. The Straw Hats try to fight the Shichibukai off, but instead they are teleported off the island in different directions, and the entire crew is split up. After this arc, the story focuses on Luffy and him becoming stronger. A massive war unfolds between the world government and the Whitebeard pirates, which was set in motion by the defeat of Ace at the hands of Blackbeard. Luffy takes part in this war to save his brother Ace. After the war, Luffy becomes even stronger by training under a former crew member of Goldie Roger's crew, Silver's Rayleigh. So now I'll be briefing on some of the remaining characters, starting off with Robin, who is an archaeologist, which can be seen because she is quite familiar with the poneglyphs. Frankie is a shipbuilder, and after the Straw Hats lose the Going Merry, he builds them another new ship with tons of features added into it. The doctor of the Straw Hats is Chopper, and over the time skip he also studies up on more medicine on the island he gets teleported on. Finally there's Brook, who, as I mentioned earlier, is the musician of the Straw Hats, and he's also quite fluent in wielding a sword. So now I'll be switching it over to Blue.
Okay, so first off, the time skip that happens. So there's a huge time skip, and it plays a huge part in the story after all the pain and suffering the crews suffered from being separated and all of them having to do their individual training. They've come back stronger than ever, and it's a great setup for the rest of the anime to come, because this is mostly the second half. Like, everything that happened before was the first half, and this is going to be the second half. So the first arc I'm going to be talking about is the Fishman Island arc. Luffy and the crew arrive at Fishman Island on their way to the New World. It's a passageway to the New World, so they have to cross it and end up causing a havoc as a war is heating up between Hordy and his men and the fishermen against the humans that live on the island and above ground. And the Straw Hats just show up and end up destroying everything with their newfound powers that they earned through 2 years of training. And in this arc, we learn about the second ancient weapon, which is Poseidon, and I'll cover the first weapon when I talk about the Void Sentry. And we also learn about Punk Hazard. This arc follows the Straw Hats into their first adventure into the New World. After they do all the stuff in Fishman Island, they resurface and they get an emergency stress call from a samurai who turns out to be Kinemon and his son Momonosuke, who end up joining the Straw Hats after this arc. And basically, the premise of this arc is just to set up the Straw Hat and Heart Pirate Alliance, and also to capture Joker, who will help the Alliance take down Doflamingo in the next arc, which is the Dressrosa arc. So the Dressrosa arc is still going on right now as of this date, and we arrive in Dressrosa with Law's plan of trying to trade Caesar for Doflamingo's Shibukai title, and Luffy fighting in a tournament where the grand prize is Ace's fruit, the Mera Mera no Mi. We see Law's side of the mission take a dramatic turn for the worst, with Doflamingo not giving up his post. And I'm going to end it off where Luffy has to leave the Colosseum and is replaced by a mysterious character. We know who the character is, but we don't want to reveal that just yet, because we don't know. It might spoil something. So the final thing I want to talk about is the Void Sentry. In the current timeline, there's a gap between 800 and 900 years before the current story, and has been written on poneglyphs, giant stone cubes that have lost centuries history written on them in an ancient language that the government has banned study of. So Nika Robin is one of the only survivors of this town that was destroyed and studied poneglyphs. So she's one of the only people known that can read poneglyphs. So we learned through poneglyphs that about the first weapon, which is plutonium or Pluton or something. We learned about this first during the Alabasta arc, where Crocodile is in Alabasta trying to get that weapon, but it's further explained when we learn that about Frankie and them, that it's actually a ship designed to annihilate land masses, and it's the first one we learn about, Poseidon being the second, who can control sea monsters. And the secret of the Void Sentry is only known to few people, and I believe the only one currently alive that knows anything is Silver's Rayleigh. And now I'm going to be switching over to our likes, starting with Totable.
Alright guys, so my likes would have to be that the story and the characters, because you get to experience the journey of the Straw Hats and the obstacles they must face to reach their goals. Along the way, we are introduced to many new characters, both good and bad. So that's my likes. And now we're gonna move on to Richter.
So for my likes, I'd have to say that over the course of the anime, like, you really start to like the characters and become attached to them, like as if you know them in person, because the anime is like 700 episodes, and over this course of the time you become really drawn to them and genuinely start loving the characters. And what Lex like is that One Piece is like the ultimate adventure. They go through a bunch of things together. They travel to the deserts, they travel to the sky, Snow Island, Alabasta, and all that. It's really the grand adventure. Finally, my last like is One Piece includes everything: comedy, emotional scenes, and epic battles. So when you put all that together, you get a true masterpiece. So now I'll be switching over to Blue.
So for my likes, I have 3 likes. So the first like is the badass characters, like the monster trio. Once they get serious, I love them so much. In like the main fights, when they're fighting Crocodile, when they're fighting Enel, when they're fighting what's his face from Fishman Island, Horty, yeah, and Vanderdicken. All those guys just get owned by Luffy and his, mainly the monster trio, Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy, especially when they start going all out. So that's definitely one thing I like. And second thing is the story. Like Richter said, it encapsulates like every single aspect. It has sad times, it has good times, it has fun times, it has all these different aspects that just combine and make the story amazing. And the third and final like is, although the storyline gets really silly, it's still serious story. Like everything they do is kind of stupid, but overall, like once you look at the bottom line, it's like the will of D and all those things are so serious. And I love how like they play on that. Like they have like the silly storyline on top, and then have a deeper storyline if you choose to like think about it. So now we're gonna be moving on to dislikes and Totable.
Well, my only dislike for this anime is that it drags on way too much and there's just too many fillers. So it's just like, okay, all of a sudden it just picks up and then next thing you know it's like drops all the way down. It's just so slow, you know, that's all. And then Richter?
So for me is I really don't like how there's no character progression for Nami and Usopp. Like they're pretty much the same as they were before the time skip. So they really could have touched up on that, and characters that you actually want to join their crew don't, like such as Vivi, and I don't know if he will, but Bartolomeo in the Dressrosa arc. And I'll be switching over to Blue.
So I have 2 dislikes. My first one is the same thing as Totable, being all the episodes are extremely drawn out. Like parts where they should be short are drawn out, and parts that should be like longer are shortened down. So stuff like that just like starts to make me mad, because like things like when Rebecca's fighting in the Coliseum, stuff that only lasted maybe like 2 chapters in the manga and lasts 10 weeks in the anime, it really bothers me. And I hate how they like condense other stuff down. And my second one is also like Richter. I guess I'm just copying everyone, but the weak characters like Nami and Usopp, it just bothers me how they had the time skip and they made them all this so much stronger, but then when you put them into actual combat, they just stop. There's no point in like giving them character progression if you're just gonna stop it. It's just gonna revert back to what it was. So now I
have one more dislike I'd like to add.
Yeah.
Okay, so another thing I really don't like is they spoon feed you a lot. Like they'll keep repeating the same thing over and over. It's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, definitely. And now we're gonna be moving on to the scores.
I would have to say that I give the anime 8 out of 10, just because I like it so much.
As for me, I'll have to give it a 10 out of 10 because it's truly a masterpiece. I recommend it to any anime fan. 700 episodes and you go across a huge adventure. It's really not something that you should miss out on.
So, a lot of drawbacks to being a super long series. It really sucks that it's like super long, but the best part about it is you get a lot of aspects of the story. It's not just like they have a couple arcs and they end the story. It's continuous and it's really enjoyable. So I definitely say 10 out of 10 for One Piece for myself. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to all of our channels and the Anime Nexus. The Anime Nexus first off, and then my channel is TheBlueSalamence. I upload Pokemon videos, Let's Plays, and stuff like that.
My channel is RetroAGEFan. I upload retro reviews.
And my channel is TotablePanic. I'm still haven't really uploaded anything yet, so but yeah, just keep watching.
So be sure to drop a like down below if you enjoyed this review. Leave a comment down below telling us what your favorite part about One Piece is. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye guys.
Thanks for watching.
See ya.